Hello there.
Hi.
I go by the name Koigi Joy Njeri. I'm a counseling psychologist by profession. I'm a mental health advocate. I'm a psychoeducator and a mindset coach. Apart from that, as I said in my other episode, I love music. I love everything that comes with art, with that type of art, and I'm very happy to be here. And thank you very much for hosting me in this podcast. And I can't wait to learn in as much as I'm here to teach.
Oh, thank you so much for being here, everyone. Hello. My name is Tshwarelo and Kgasago. So I'm a lay counselor, I'm a psychology graduate, and I am part of MateCoach as well. So I am here with Koigi as well. So it's an honor and thank you so much for being here. It's an amazing journey that we are about to walk through. Thank you.
Sure.
So, Koji, in this matter, this topic is something that I've always been curious about. I know everybody will just love digging into this video because now we're talking about something that is more broader. It's something that everybody can relate to, whether being married or coming from a family of people that are married. It's something that everybody can relate. So, the more focus is the topic looks at the lack of moral support in marriages. So, what do you, by just hearing that, what is that one thing that comes into your mind?
Okay. For me, what comes in mind is the good and the bad things that I'd say the bad things that comes with marriage. And one of the core things that I have personally identified in marriages is whereby most of the people get to lose their identity as a person. In as much as fatherhood, motherhood, the fact of being a husband and being a wife is there is the entity of you as a human being, you as a woman, you as a man. And I see it in so many marriages that once people come together, they tend to lose their identity, who they are, their dreams, their ambitions. It's more of a sacrifice. So they sacrifice who they are for the sake of the marriage, which for me it really does not sit well with me. Because I really believe that a good marriage should nurture who you are. It should help you prepare. It should help you get to achieve what you really want in your other life. In, in a world that is just past the titles of husband and wife. And there is more, as I say, there is less of moral support in marriages, mostly right here in our continent, Africa. I don't know how it is on your side down there in South Africa, but up here in Kenya, I see that a lot. A person was maybe a career woman, maybe they had their own goals, but the moment they enter marriage, it just leaves them, and now they settle for the role that they're there. They some even have to leave their workplaces to go and take care of their children. And the moment a woman enters the house, if you do not have good man, getting out of that house becomes a problem. Support is no longer
Mm.
there, and I don't like that. I believe we shares, we all have dreams, and you should not shrink that because you entered into another phase of your life. Yes.
It just sounds like, the minute one gets into marriage, there's this stigma that now covers you up to lose the originality of who you are. So
Yeah.
it's funny because, a marriage should be something that is beautiful, should be something that it helps you to develop as a person. But now, the way the standards are of marriages, they tend to now make the now generation feel like I don't want to be in this because I've looked at my mother go through that. I've looked at my mother sacrifice so much of herself. And now looking at that, I don't want to be that, but really the moral support in families, it's something that we lack so much, and not only in South Africa, because as you mentioned, in Kenya, it's a whole different kind of concept. But with us also, it's something that people now get into marriages because they are trying to escape the reality of their family. So it's something that it's a concern. And even the things that we come along in marriages these days, it kills that support that one might have, because some men, when you get married to them, they will now want to alienate you from your family. That's where we lose support in some people in marriages. And that support helps some of us to build ourselves. It helps some of us to know who we are or to continue to grow. So, looking at the concept of the attachment, that people can now come along with. Do you now look at childhood development as a cause of some of those toxic attachment that people can have in marriages?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because I personally feel the type of attachment you developed as a child, it really contributes to the type of partner you attract. Because an attachment, it is based on a personal relationship with the caretaker we had during our childhood. Maybe he was there, maybe she was not there, and that develops wounds within us. And if you do not take time to heal from those wounds, then absolutely you will attract a person who either feels that wounds, that is a person which like tried to cover up whatever you went through. And I am a believer of that's how toxic cycles begin. With that, we have very many different types of attachments, but we have four core. We have the secure attachment. With a secure attachment, this is whereby a child knew that she deserves or he deserves to be loved. The caretaker was always there for them emotionally, physically. If they needed
Mm,
something, they would really communicate with this partner, with this caregiver, I mean. So with them, they grew up knowing that I am worthy of being loved, and they know that they do not have to do too much to be loved, and they believe that other people can be trusted when it comes to love. So, with the type of relationships they get into, these are people who will really have great relationships because they're really open with their communication, open with their emotions. Even as they're discussing their issues out, they're not there to lash or control their partners. They are there to discuss what they feel, and they're always there looking for solutions, not looking for dominations or seeing or getting to be seen as the people who are right, because they were raised right. They were raised in a validated environment, and they were taught that they matter, and they were taught that they deserve to be loved. So with a secure type, it's very nice because they are very comfortable with these emotions. They are very comfortable with intimacy. They are even actually very comfortable with space. They are the type of people who
mm,
do not overread the room. They understand that you can love me but still need your space. You can love me and still not call me and still not text me all the time. Because for them, they know that they can trust their partners. They can trust the people they are with. So I really, really believe that the type of attachment we get in our childhood, it really matters. That's why I usually tell my people, I usually tell my clients and my friends as well, when you are marrying, you're not marrying your husband. You're not only getting yourself a husband, you're getting yourself a father to your kids, you're getting yourself a mother to your kids. So don't only look for things that will be suitable for you. Look beyond. Will this person be there for my kids? Will this person be there emotionally? Will he or she be there physically? Because in one way or another, who they are will affect the children that you get. And our children are our tomorrow, they are our generation. Yeah, so you have to be really careful on that. So I really believe on attachment theories and how they directly affect our dating life later in life. Yeah.
It's amazing, to look at this situation to from growing up to be this person, and now all those things that you were raised with can now follow you. It's like carrying this baggage with you. So it goes according to a person, I guess, whether you would wanna always be carrying this baggage or reach out to get help, because it seems like how we develop can actually have a huge impact on our well-being, our relationships, even being parent as it is. And you talked about the way when a child is coming from a very supportive family, they carry that to the relationship as being somebody who's compassionate, somebody who's empathetic, even through difficult times of arguments. They are always very attentive to how things are, because what they have is that empathy of, I'm there for you as much as I would want to be there for you. They reflect how they want to be treated. So it comes back now to people. Imagine somebody growing up in a very tough neighborhood or a community where they believe that if a man is treating me like this, I can always run to my family or I can run to somebody else. That affiliation of toxicity in people. So, with that, how can we now, as people, raise this concern of saying you can't always run away, try to sort out issues from when you were young, even as a parent, even as a wife, so that you don't teach your kids to always run off. Make use of the support that you get to help everybody grow. How do we now bring that to our people?
Nice question. I feel the first thing is we should kill the stigma that comes, as you mentioned in the beginning of the session. We should kill the stigma that comes with this whole cycle and offer an environment whereby one can be vocal about what they're going through, because I really understand the toxicity that comes in some marriages. It has really been normalized, like back here they say like every family undergoes that. You're a woman, you should stay there, you should build. They even refer to the Bible. A good woman, they build their houses with their own hands. Don't be the foolish one. That yeah, but sometimes our own daughters, our own sons are dying in those marriages. So I feel first of all we break the stigma. Let's not over romanticize this thing, because growing up, personally, my picture of marriage was something huge. And when you come growing up, that's when you come realizing things, in your own family setup, the stories you hear from the background. Now you're in the therapy office, the stories you receive, and you're just like, wow, marriages is a very different thing. Yeah, so kill the stigma, and then we become vocal, we advocate for this thing, because we always having these workshops, for diseases, we have these workshops for the boys, for the mental health and all that. Let's bring this, let's incorporate this in our workshops and create that environment, because I feel the moment that somebody comes out and talks about it. You talk about your own story. You talk about your own challenges. There is somebody out there in the crowd who is sitting and might relate to the whole thing, but we are usually at the back. We don't want to talk about it. We are ashamed about it. A woman coming out and saying that my husband is a narcissistic husband, or my man beats me up. In our culture, we as Africans, it seems as if you're shaming, you're shaming your man, you're embarrassing him, you're getting your dirty linens out in the public. But what they forget is the damage that is happening just because you prefer to cover it up. I'd say we use our voice, we use our voice, and I love like this platform that we have. We can use it like those workshops. We make these people talk, because I believe the moment that you don't talk, you can never be helped because I will never know what is going on with you. I'll never know what you're suffering
You'll never know what you're
you're
suffering.
suffering behind the curtains, and that's why they really advocate for silence because
They
they know
really
that
advocate for sex.
nothing can happen. You know, you'll just suffer, you and your children down there. If it's to read, the one that reads well and gets out, the better for him or her. And yeah, you just die there with your own depression, and it's sad.
Mm.
It's sad. It's a very sad thing to witness because the fact is it is happening and it leads to so much. It leads to depression, to chronic diseases, to sabotage of our own lives. And we as well, we should heal. I feel in as much as you have been on the receiving edge, don't get into a marriage before you heal who you are, before you heal the things that you've gone through. Because if you do not do that, you will mirror them there in the afterlife. When you get children, you will mirror them. If you've grown up in a toxic environment that has taught you that love perseveres everything, so you have to persevere the emotional abuse, the physical abuse. When you get into that age, work on yourself, reprogram your mind, love yourself, teach yourself what love is, because clearly that marriage taught you what love is not. So when you go that, or when you enter into your own marriage with that perception of marriage, you'll obviously plant another seed of hopelessness, of suffering. So I feel we should also heal. This is the time. Heal, drain that toxicity in you, drain that suffering in you, so that when you enter into your own chapter, it will be better for you and it will be better for your generations. Yeah, so I feel that is it. You heal, you talk about it, and we as the advocates, as the specialists, because we are the leaders in the community for now. We should try our best and reach out to as many people as we can and make them come forward and give them that environment to show them that this is happening and you can come out of it if you are willing to. Yeah.
I think, to a lot of things, we now have to go back to how we were raised in most cases, because you talked about the concept of where we come from, the way people perceive marriages, and the way we learn what a marriage is. In our culture, there's this thing of shaming, and when you go home, if you're in a bad marriage, you go to your parents, you go home and explain the whole concept, because we look back at, I don't want to be telling a lot of people, so that when we are happy again, I don't want people reminding me of the bad times in my marriages. You go home, you talk to your parents. In most cases, what people get is the parents will tell you, tolerate the situation same as I've tolerated. It's what a woman should do. They categorize uh, being a woman as somebody who should not have feelings, no matter how bad the situation is. And even us as women, we tend to now protect the perpetrator, and we making it so okay that even when that man is doing something outside, you're still protecting them, and you are the one who's being hurt. And when it comes to counseling, psychology, going to psychologists, going to see psychiatrists, in most of our culture, it's not something that is well developed yet. It is there, people do go, but it's something that we don't really do it more often, or as more as we should. I was talking to this other man at work some other day. I asked him, would you go for counseling? He said, yes, I will, but as long as I'm not going to talk about my family problems. And you can see that this is something that is there. Imagine now, what if he was going through something? It means that he will rather just let it sink in on him and pretend like it's not there. And even how we were raised, the lack of support system, it's making marriages to be this intolerable situation that people find themselves in, because now we have people that are in relationships, they're in marriages, that they don't even know what a red flag is until it's too late, and we tend to close down on the chapter of when somebody is portraying certain behaviors like narcissistic behaviors, psychosis, all those things. We tend to close them down because now we saw them through my uncle. I saw my uncle behaving like this, but her wife is still there. His wife is still there. I saw my father being like this. My mother is still there. So even when my husband is being like this, it means it's part of life. Husbands will always portray this weird behavior, and it's okay. And even with husbands, if you grow up looking at your father tolerating certain behaviors from your mother, and you marry a wife that is portraying particular behaviors, you will think, okay, this is normal. My father stayed, which means I have to stay as well, because when you go home to report this weird or particular behavior, they will always tell you it's okay, because that is what they learned also from their forefathers. So it's a problem that lacking of moral support is making marriages to be what they are not supposed to be, because we disregard love, we disregard respect, we disregard self-love, and we normalize this lack of support as if it's something that it's okay. Because you find that when somebody's divorcing, and you ask them, why are you divorcing? They will tell you, I don't have support in my marriage. And as a African person, you will hear them telling you, like, that is not a reason enough. Why are we normalizing lack of support in marriages? If you're looking at that, why do you think we are normalizing it so much?
I love what you said before because it's one of the major factor. It's been normalized. Lack of support has been normalized. So the fact that you don't get it, you don't see it as a problem because, as you beautiful
Mm,
said it, beautifully put it. I mean, you saw that with your uncle, you saw that with your aunt, you saw that with your own mother. So why am I making a fuss if it's happening to me? This is what happens in marriages. So I really second the fact that we do not know what marriages are. We do not know what marriages are for. And the fact that most of us are getting married just to get married. Because there is that pressure that comes, maybe you're at a particular age and they're like, hey, Tshwarelo, you need to get a man. So you find yourself just getting a man and not getting your man. So this is a person who will never support you because they do not know who you are, they do not know what comes with you. So the honeymoon phase might be there. You are a beautiful girl, you are a very brilliant girl, but it fades. Everything fades. Who are you at the core? What is your marriage at the core when everything disappears? Another thing that I feel is another cause to lack of support in marriages is ourselves. When you do not have a compass of your life, when you do not know who you are as a person, how will the people around you help you? They will maybe want to help you, but they do not know how to help you. For example, I understand you are a lover of psychology and you are pursuing clinical psychology in the future. So if you are to get a person, if you are to get a husband, they know how and they know where to support you as a woman, as they are women, as their woman. But for example, you might find a woman, they do not know what they want to do, they do not have goals as a person. So when you get a husband, when you get that fiance, that boyfriend, they're just doing life with you, and since you're directionless, how will they help a person who does not know even where they are going? They will love to, but they do not know how to. So in as much as we blame people out there, we also have a way we contribute to this. And I see that in marriages because, as you mentioned very earlier, you find that a lot of women they lose their identity.
mm,
So even their own husbands, they might wonder, how will I help my wife? When I married her, maybe she wanted to do design, she wanted to open up a shop and design. But 10 years down the line, 15 years down the line, I do not know what she wants with her own life. So I would want to help her, but I do not know how she wants to be helped. And if the wife is asked, she herself, she does not know. She lost direction of her own life. So there is no way she
mm.
will. So, in as much as the environment is really contributing to this, we as women must also take that accountability that somehow we are really contributing to this. In as much as you're in that marriage, don't lose yourself, don't lose your goals, don't succumb to the pressure. Your dream might not come to be right now because they are meant to be a lot of responsibilities, a lot of pressure that is coming, but that does not mean you bury your goal. It does not mean you bury your dream. Just hold on to it and work towards it. Keep showing up, keep showing up. Even though things are not adding up, keep showing up. Keep showing the people around you that I can do this, even if they do not believe in you. It will come a point whereby they will support you, the world will support you, and yeah, everything will be okay. That no one will be. Yeah, so I
I
feel,
love that fact.
yeah.
I really love that fact, honestly, because, going back to identity, I don't know what makes it such a custom that when you get married, as a woman, you have to close down the dreams that you have, then, everything about you. But with men, it's different. It's like they thrive, but with women, we close down. So how did we even come to them? Is it something that we learned from our ancestors, or is it something that we find it easier when men are in control? But also, that control, is it being in control of the family, or now being in control of you? Because that's something that a lot of
Sure.
us, we look at marriage as, I don't want somebody controlling me, because now it means everything that I have to do, it has to align with the kind of person they are. I'm changing myself, but they don't want to change themselves. So do you think that kind of concept is what leads to infidelities in marriages?
Infidelities on the men's side or the women's side.
On both sides, because remember, even though I'm speaking as a woman, I'm talking about things from my perspective, but we also have men who feel like they lost themselves after being in a relationship. As you were talking about kind of a attachment, some people, they want to be in a relationship that they can be able to control. They want to be in control. They want to text you, call you, and find you at any time that they want, because they're afraid. It might be because somebody's afraid of being abandoned, or history of abandonment, where if I call you, you don't answer me, it means that you are on your way to leave, and I'm going to hold you hostage so that you don't make any move. And sometimes that can develop into somebody developing some kind of narcissistic behavior, because everything is about them, everything should be according to them. So do you think that kind of concept is what leads both partners, it can be a man, it can be a woman, to end up now going outside, finding other partners that can make them feel whole as individuals?
Yes, yes, it can be a contributing factor. Like the way you've used the example of a narcissistic man who always wants to be in control, who always wants things to go in control. I know of a person with that character, um, and with this person, yeah, he got to marry an independent woman, and she has her own money, she has her own principles, she has her own bargaining power. So the man realized, I really can't control this lady to the measures that I want. So what does this man do to? Because with narcissistic behavior is a mental health illness. You are sick. You should seek therapy and get to maneuver through that. And if you don't, there are consequences. And since this person did not sort out for therapy, or this person ended up getting another woman who um, would accommodate his behavior, a woman who he would control, a woman whom he would pick, and they will be there whenever they want them to be. They will be told go right, left, and center, and they will do so without questioning. So yes, it leads to cheating, because this person will look for a person that fulfills the type of illusion they have, the type of life they want to lead. And on the issue of settling, and we women want to get married, you're now a housewife, only you're taking care of the children. We see that a lot. We call them the work husbands and the work wives. It is happening everywhere because you'll find the woman. Maybe before they got married, she was working somewhere. She was having her own money from somewhere. And if you've had a discussion with your colleagues, which it's evident you do, I am sure you've discussed about relationship with a empowered woman, and for them it feels better. With my friends, they tell me that they love the chase. The chase is better than when a woman is laid back, she's at home, the adrenaline, the dopamine is there. And if you are, as I was saying prior, you are a workwoman and now you retire, or I say you elevate to motherhood, um, the probability of a man looking for that dopamine, looking for that adrenaline is very high. So they'll go about looking for that receptionist, that beautiful secretary, that beautiful assistant, that office they meet up for meetings and they set out a very beautiful girl. They will they will obviously throw their hints and try to see where this can get them. And in as much you said marriages also change men, and they really do change men in so many wild ways. Um, from their finances to their time, to their appearances, and to their duty rosters. Now, this is a man who can't be outside every day, maybe as he was, because right now you are a dad, your children need you. Me, as your wife, I need you. So, all the weekends, you can't be out there. And this, it suppresses them to some point because I happened to one day share a table with married men, and they were talking about this thing, infidelity, And one of the guys was having an issue with the wife because he was like, "Hey, Mimi, me, sister, I can't be outside past 9 p.m. The wife, she will bring problems because last weekend where we were, so I understand the guy was not home the other weekend, and the guys they ended up telling up the brother or the friend that he has a problem and he does not know how to control his wife. So that really got me interested because I really wanted to hear this from a man's perspective. So I asked them, how do you
Yeah.
control a woman? Like, how do you do that? And I was actually really shocked because I expected, the normal, talk to them. But men have really become cunning in this generation because what he said is, first of all, you have to relocate your wife. Gauge what she earns. If she earns 40,000, take her to an apartment that it costs like 60,000. If your children's school in a school where you pay like 70,000 per term, take them to 100,000 per term. If she takes a matatu or an Uber to work, buy a car. So at the end of the day, keep her in a life, and this was his sentence. Keep her in a life that she can't afford without you, and she will never leave you. So I was
Wow.
like, okay, 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 that's new. That's very interesting. Yeah, so they encouraged the boy, you go work hard. For now, we will release you at this 9 p.m. because your life. Go work hard. Take yourself, your woman from wherever you keep her. Take her to a better place. Upgrade her life a little bit better. And if you feel you will go out for a month, like myself, you can join us because what is she to tell you? So sometimes the support can come in a way of control, and that is something I learned from that table of men. So we really have to be careful because I also understand it can be vice versa with the other men, and it
Yeah.
is happening. We have in Kenya, you can have a man who he supports you, but that is not really support. It's a way of caging you, it's a way of controlling you. And so yeah, so control is happening on so many levels. It's not they have really upped their game. It's not the calls and the texts. Right now, they buy you a Mercedes and they tell you if you're breaking up, you're not going anywhere with that. And you know, as women, as
Oh,
men, as well, sometimes
yeah.
we tie our identities to the things that we have. So you imagine that I'm going to move out from that suburb and go back to my home village or go back to a place I'm paying 15,000. I'm going to leave that car and be matatuing or Ubering around. I won't do that. So you stay there because of the Mercedes Benz. You stay there because of the good house, because of the good life. But they're not doing that because they love you. They're doing that to control you, to keep you there, to bound you. So it looks like support, but it is not. It is not support. So yeah, I can say a lot has changed. People are doing things differently, and it's interesting, but at the same time, it's sad. Yeah, because we need a
Oh,
lot of discernment.
that is heavy.
Is
That is heavy because to everything that you said, it's scary that now marriages are all about materials. And it now, as you were talking, I'm now realizing that a lot of people now have anxiety. A lot of people now family, you get married to a man that is well off, and all of a sudden, that this man start mistreating you in the intentions of very well knowing you can't go back to where you come from because as we're talking about, you lack moral support from the family, you lack financial support from your family, you lack everything. And he feels like for everything you have now, it's because of me. I can now control you with all these things I'm giving you. And it's scary that that is now our reality. That is now our marriages. And what you can imagine why the rate of people whose mental illnesses have escalated is the way it is now, because every time you talk to somebody, they are either expressing how anxious they're feeling about life, they're either expressing this demoralizing feeling about growing up. And you can see where all that is coming from because you have people that are well off and they just do as they please to people. Imagine when you get married to that kind of a person, how will they treat you? So, with that being said, what is it that you think we can do before you get into marriage? What is it that can help us? Because we do understand that a lot of people don't go for marriage counseling anymore. Okay, not that they ever did, some of them, but what is it that we can do to normalize for people to go to marriage counseling, because we need that. I feel like that should be our norm because you find that people are getting married to this horrible, horrible people and they are so okay with it. And when they're in, they now get surprised to say, why is this man treating me like this? You should have seen that because this is how the person has always been and this is how the person will always be. And if they are holding you down with the materials, it means you're not going anywhere. But my question is, how can we normalize counseling before marriage? Is not after, not during, but before, because it's something that I feel like we need. How do we do that?
Um, First of all, I think we should talk about it as much as we talk about the other therapies. And it's quite unfortunate that therapy has been associated with negatives. It's very rare you find a person coming for therapy for the right thing. What I mean by the right thing is we have career counseling or career therapy, we have financial therapy and all that, but you will really get less clients on that. But on the other side, the trauma, they from students, that's what we get a lot. So I feel it's the concept of therapy. We've really associated therapy with problems. So people will
Yeah.
only come to therapy when they are experiencing a problem. So I think it's upon us to rebrand therapy and show that it is not only a problem solving journey, it can be a preparation journey. And I love the fact that churches really advocate for that. Go for marriage counseling before you do this. So we should vocalize it as much as we're saying. Uh, do that when you're going to settle for a career, do that when this is happening. Let's normalize it in marriages. And I also feel it's a personal choice. It's a very personal choice that you have to take as a person. Because there is something that you really said and I loved. We see the problems, but we really assume them. I call them the pinking of red flags. You will always know about this person, but you're like, I can fix it. He's my man, he's my woman. We can work it out in the future. And this working out, that is like, hey, now it's a problem. It becomes a hazard, a bigger issue in the after or when in this marriage. So I also find that when you see a red flag, accept that you have seen the red flag and act accordingly. Stop trying to paint it. Stop trying to like advocate. I know for this. Yes, they're like that when they're angry. No, that man slapped you. Stop saying, I know he was just angry. No, he has anger issues. Let him know you have anger issues. Go for therapy. Stop saying, I am the one who led. No, 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 no. So in terms of red flags, when you see a red flag, identify it, communicate about it. If they're not willing to work on it, then I think and I feel you should be more than ready to walk out. Because there is somewhere I read that the things you tolerate during dating, you validate them in marriage. Because she'll be like, he or she or will be like, she was okay when she was not mine and she was okay, so I can do it because now she's mine. So if there's a problem, address it. And if it is not met, if it is not resulted or the solution come, then I think that is not your person. Just leave. Just leave. Because on the attachment theory as well, which I feel should be another whole segment, the people who have grown up in these loving environments, they are abusive, they are emotionally unavailable. Then you'll find
Yeah.
you're there like you're trying to make it work, but you are on your own. You will drain yourself. If you're draining yourself in a relationship, imagine what will happen when you get into that marriage.
Mm.
So I think we should be ready.
Oof.
When you see a problem, run. You should not be there and no, 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 run. Because I feel it is our personal, it is our personal responsibility to work on ourselves. If a person is not ready to work on themselves, prayers will not change them. Going to therapy for them will not change them. If they are not willing, they are not
Yeah.
willing. Learn,
They
learn,
will
learn.
never change.
Yeah, they will never change. If they don't want to, they do not want to. They do not want to. And our culture has this issue of saying, pray for that man. I have a problem with that.
It does not work.
It does not work like that. There is no way a person is continuously doing this to you and you're blaming the devil. That is their decision. That is their choice to do that. And if you don't go for therapy, if they do not work on that, they will sit on you as you pray. And one day your God will tell you you just have to live there. Something you would have done 10 years ago, something you would have done 5 years ago.
Can you exactly?
So it's a personal choice. I'd say work on yourself. Yeah.
I love that. I love that, honestly. Even though we are laughing about it, but it's something that is there. You find people blaming every single force for their partner's behavior, but they fail to now. blame the person who should actually be blamed for. Because remember, we are adults. And some people, they are very accustomed to their behavior. And I say accustomed because they literally tell themselves, I can't be changed by a woman. And which lead us now to lack of support in marriages within the marriage itself. Because remember, outside forces can be supportive, but you might find that your partner is not supporting you in anything you ever do. Like you gave example earlier to say women are bound to be mothers, stay-at-home mothers. Women are bound to now be categorized within this circle or this hole that we are being put in. And the husband comes home, doesn't even help with the chores, does not even think about asking you how was your day, giving you that comfort, as their partner. So all of that, it's doing such a number on people, because now you might find that someone is married to somebody who, there's love here, but because this man was never taught to love, because love, even though it's something that we have within us, but it can be taught. Some people, they are taught to love. They were not loved before, but they were taught and they were willing to learn. So you might find that this lack of support within marriage itself, it can actually make somebody to fall out of love. Lack of support contributes to so much within people. And with that, how do you think now all of this affects the children that are looking at it unfold within them? Do you now think these kids are going to grow up to understand love or to seek love, or are they just going to portray the very same behavior that they grow up seeing, that a woman should not be loved but should be my second mother? They're saying that if you hear a man saying I'm going to get married, it means they're tired of their mother. They're now going to get their new mother, a mother that now they can be able to control. It's not a nice it's not a nice fact. Because why should it be like that? Why can't it be somebody getting a partner that they can share life with? It's funny. It's funny because it's something that is there, and we see there are a lot of people getting married, but at the same time, the sad reality is there are a lot of divorces that we are facing every day. And we don't realize that stigma is something that, even though we are saying we are fighting against it, but it's like we are raising it, because you see people getting married, it's beautiful, all of a sudden it's changing now to a lot of divorces. It's bringing the stigma to the upcoming generation, because they are no more seeing marriages as something valuable. They're seeing it as a part of life that, I'm going to get married because I know I'm only going to get divorced later. So that is something that personally I'm not proud of thinking about, but we are bound to change marriages. Marriage is a good thing. Marriage is a beautiful thing, and love is a beautiful thing. So, as you said, talk about more counseling is something that is very vital. We need to normalize it. Every time somebody says something, send them to counseling. If your friends are getting married, send them to counseling before they walk down on that aisle. Because we are saving them, we're trying to save them, not to discourage them. So honestly, I am really grateful. I'm really grateful for having this conversation with you, because it's amazing. We learn every day, and I hope it can be normal that we talk about it. It's not something shameful. It's not something that we should run away from, because we can't run away from love. We can't run away from marriages, but we can run away from lack of support within people. So that is just my take on it.
Beautiful, beautiful. I also second that. Yeah, and I
Mm.
believe to some extent you attract who you are. So
Oh,
I really
yes.
advocate we should really work on ourselves. We should really work on ourselves. There is this quote I actually saw. It's a quote slash meme, and it's like after you've healed a heartbreak, and then an ex comes back, or tries to come back, and then you go back and analyze, and it's just like, what part of me really attracted this human being? Like, how broken was I to attract this type of a person? And it was very funny, but as a therapist, I really, really loved it. I really, really loved it because it showed me that people are
Yeah.
getting to see that they are who they attract. the person you are attracting. Maybe it is something that you're lacking in yourself. Maybe it is that daddy issue that you've always had with yourself. Maybe it is that esteem issue you have with yourself. So you need someone to assure you every day that they love you, to assure you that you're worth of love. So
Yeah.
go yourself, think inward, work on yourself, because I believe the moment that you work on yourself as a human being, it shows you glow differently, you attract differently, even your priorities really change. You are like 25, you wanted to get married, and now you're just like, no, now there is more to life. There is, I have to achieve this, I have to achieve this. And by the
Yeah.
time you that, you get somebody better, you get someone who is actually meant for you. So it goes back to us. For us who are not yet in marriages, I say work on yourself before you get into a marriage. In as much as you are working on your physical beauty, on your hair and your nails and your
Yeah.
outfit. Work on what is upstairs, work on your mindset, work on your level of education, work on your way of thinking, work on your habits, because those are the things that contribute to the type of person you will get. Because there is no way you will chill in a bar and attract a pastor. There is no way you will chill in a
Exactly.
church and and expect somebody from out there. There is no way. I remember there was a time we were having a discussion with my friends, and they're like, I would want a man who drives. And a friend of mine was like, and you're walking on foot. How is that even possible? You have to at least have a car. Even though it's a bit, when you're parking, at least you will meet him
Yeah.
when he's also in the parking lot. So, and that really helped me a lot. So, you have to be in certain rooms for you to meet a certain type of
Yeah.
men, a certain type of men. So I'd say we have to work on ourselves, regardless of your age, regardless of your gender, because at the end of the day, you attract you. Yes, so work on yourself.
Thank you for that. So, in overall, we should run away from trauma bond. If you feel like you're in a relationship and then you now start realizing something is off, that the bonding that you have with your partner, it's somewhat reminding you of the traumatic events you left behind, run. That is a point where you need to pack up your bags and run because trauma bond, I feel like, is the most dangerous kind of bond we have to this day. Oh, thank you so much, Koigi. Thank you so much. It was amazing talking to you. It was amazing, honestly. You made me laugh. You made me rethink about a lot of things. And thank you for having this session with me. I hope we're gonna have a lot of sessions in future. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It was quite a deep conversation. It was raw, and thank you for the laughs, thank you for the relatability, and thank you so much for having me, for creating time to hold this with me. I really do appreciate. Yes.
Oh, thank you. Definitely talk again next time. Enjoy. Bye bye.